Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Darkening of Mirkwood session 120. Um, and we are with our Grey Delve group tonight, for those of you who are watching at home, which is
Hi, everybody.
probably the same people on this call.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. When last we left our heroes, the party began the session having decided to turn themselves over to Nar in the hopes of working with him. Realizing, just like a little something down the wrong. Realizing that this would require them to eat a lot of crow, a phrase which Keeley finds, quote, slightly racist, they decide to go exploring the lands at a greater distance to either side of the Grey Mountains in the vague hope of finding something they could use as a bargaining chip. Due to Ongi's misremembering the direction in which the goblins had last been sighted, which is maybe the most amazing thing about all of this, they set off in the eastward direction in search
I
of.
think we clarified that before we left.
You did, but still, I think that's one of the most amazing things. Is the only reason you guys picked east, which was the only direction that you could have found something like this in, is because Ben remembered something wrong, and I think that's just. If that is not you, catastrophe, I do not know what is.
That sounds kind of book-like.
Yeah, they decided to set out eastward in search of something. This is what was after you guys decided that the 13-day journey south to a possible troll horde would be far too impractical. You proceeded eastward by gradual steps, making your way through the nigh impassable Grey Mountains in search of who knows what. And before you knew it, you were a full 18 days out with no sight of anything useful. Just as you'd almost decided to turn back, Mar found an ancient dwarven road, cunningly hidden, which cut eastward through the mountains. Keen scholar that she was, she realized that this must indeed be the road leading to the ancient Fireheart Mine, a small but once wealthy hold of the dwarves in ancient days, abandoned centuries before the coming of Smaug. Arriving at the entrance to the mine, the party sent Little Bee down into the opening to investigate. Finding it deserted, the company began to slowly explore the ancient mine, whose grandeur had not been lessened by time or abandonment. It was almost too late that the company learned that the mine was not in fact abandoned, but that there dwelt therein a monstrous mountain troll. The party made an attempt to murder the troll in its sleep, but succeeded only in waking it up
If it's a troll
and pissing it off.
That's about that's yeah. That was actually murder.
The huge brute, who had dwelt for time out of mind beneath a mountain, growing bigger and stronger and more hateful with age,
It's an old growth troll.
made short work of the dwarves. See what I did there? It's a little dwarven height pun because dwarves are so short. Ha.
Richard.
No, Mikey
Ha.
lives in another realm.
Yes, that's true. It was only with the last effort that Ongi managed, with the help of his fellow dwarves, to trip the brute, sending him crashing down into a chasm deep below. Catching their breath after the battle, the party explored the nest of the mountain troll. There they found ample treasure. Idun, in particular, found an ancient dwarven shield made by the smiths of Casa Doom, while Little Bee found the most priceless treasure of all, a Fireheart gem, possibly the last one remaining unset in the northern world. And that is where we are going to pick up this evening. So my question for you is, what are you guys doing?
Well, first, I have another journal entry that I would like.
I would love to hear it.
Excellent.
I haven't added it to the page online, but I will do that. So, section 5. I guess what they say about the resilience of hobbits is right. Little Bee doesn't particularly seem to mind that a dragon took away his eye. He's actually quite proud of his huge diamond and went on a lot about the loss of his smoking pipe, as if that were the worst of his problems.
That is the worst of his problems. No, that's the second worst. He hasn't had second breakfast in.
True. After reuniting with our little friend, we decided to explore the mountains east of the Great Elk Canyon, hoping to find something, maybe treasure or at least some information, that we could use as a bargaining piece when we eventually confront Nar. We searched for almost 2 weeks without finding anything, not so much as a goblin's toenail or a diamond shard. Then on the 18th day, we struck gold, as you might say. Oh, yes, but in the meantime, it seems our friends back at the Great Elk weren't faring so well. I sent Keely back to check on them, and he returned with news that the dragon had come out of the mountain and eaten a bunch of bardings. Not surprisingly, some of their company ran after that, although those cursed tenacious Easterlings won't be put off so easily, it seems. Anyway, on May 31st, we found an old dwarf-made road. When we followed it, we found, well, maybe you won't believe it, but Little B has proof. We found the old lost Fireheart mine. So whatever happens, this quest isn't a loss. We almost didn't survive to tell the tale, though. I mean, I hope Keely would have gone and told someone if we'd never come back out. But there was a big, old, nasty troll who'd taken up residence inside. We figured he was there. We could smell his stink even from outside. But we went in. Who wouldn't have? It's not every day you rediscover lost treasure. We found the troll snoring and thought we'd be clever and attack him before he woke up. It turns out trolls are very hard to kill, and we spent a lot of time fighting him after he was awake. He thrashed us all pretty good and might have finished us too, but Angie and Little B finally managed to push him off the edge of a bottomless pit. The same pit I almost fell down at one point. Serves the old bugger right. Oh, but it was worth it. It was treasure, more than I've ever seen outside of Erebor's vault. And I found a shield the likes of which I've never seen before, in Erebor or Eredluin or anywhere else. It's so light. I'm sure it must be very old. I'm not sure even Dane's finest craftsman could make something like this anymore. When I can, I want to take a shield to a lore master because I feel it must have a story. Ha! When I get home, they'll never believe all I've done, will they?
Not anymore.
Very nicely done, Augusta. All right. I'm going to let you guys fill Harmony in while I
Hello,
put the dogs up so
Harmony.
that they are not continuing to howl during our session. So I'll be right back.
So how much of that did you catch, Harmony?
Like, just the last sentence.
Okay, so were you here for the session when we decided that basically everything was going to crap and we were going to go have to basically join forces with Nar?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think she's been here the past 2 sessions.
Okay, so
One before last.
what
Yeah,
will hap-
only missed one. She was here 2 sessions ago, and
so
she missed.
was that the one where we met the dragon? Were you there for when we escaped the dragon?
Yes.
It was with
Okay.
the nest one, and then the one where we fought.
Okay.
Oh,
If he's not here, there's going to be a giant bad guy here instead.
So, long story short, we of course discovered that we had been discovered. Had to move our lodgings. Did some exploring down the camp, remembering all this correctly. And then again, sort of realized that, well, in our current position, we were knocked out, especially now that there was a dragon, and with our current standing, there was no way we were going to prevail without probably joining forces with Nar and at least the Great Elf Dwarves currently in the valley. So we were prepared to turn ourselves into, as it were, to Nar and make peace for the time being. And then it basically realized that we had zero bargaining chips at all. Besides Little B's amazing new face, which is good maybe like once or twice.
Well, good job dodging the moral dilemma of just killing him and prying the diamond out of his eye.
I mean, we're reasonably decent people.
That's the most been talking about last semester.
Nar would have done that, PJ, and it would have been still your fault. But in any case, then we Sophie wisely suggested that we do some more exploring. So we went looking on the east side of the map, and took a 14-day jaunt, during which we mostly found nothing at all until we found the big one, which is to say, we found the lost Fireheart mine, with its priceless Fireheart gems, etc., which had been lost to the Great Elf Dwarves for some time. Primary reason being there was a massive and extremely can't begin to explain how tough this stupid troll was.
Yeah, we were all pretty sure it was going to be a total party kill.
Yeah, he's a one-man TPK machine.
Yeah,
it was.
It was
Yeah.
PPK.
So we snuck up on this thing, and everybody attacked it in its sleep, and we did basically nothing to it. And then, like 4 rounds later, this thing had put most of us down. But we edged it over toward this massive chasm, and we did the Dwarven Games troll tossing, where you get underneath it and then just make horrible grunting noises and then hurl it up into the air as far as you can.
A little poop might have come out.
Little
Yeah.
Buddy and little bit that did it that last round.
And so we threw him over the side, and he disappeared down into this bottomless chasm, which we couldn't see the bottom. So we're pretty sure he's not coming back up. And then we did treasure rolls, which you missed, sadly. And I got about 100 treasure. Idun got a amazing magical shield of some sort, which may or may not be cursed, given her rolls. We don't know this. Little B got like the last remaining unset Fireheart gem in all of Middle Earth. So it's pretty cool. Possibly. And then the rest of us just got a whole lot of money. So, literally more money than we can carry out of here.
That is going to be a problem. So, what is y'all's plan?
All right.
Maybe that we are circled up around the fire after
Seems like a good idea.
fire or whatever.
Sure.
Camp outside the Fireheart mines, which we don't actually know there aren't other beasties inside there.
So, my thought is, given the current. Also, you should know, Harmony. The Kibelzoon the dragon has emerged and has attacked Nar's army, and has eaten some bardings, which has caused some of them to flee.
About 20 other ones.
Ate about 20 bardings. Yes. So a bag of party-sized Snickers put me out of bardings. And so some of them left, but the Easterlings stayed, the dwarves stayed, and so my thought is, given the current state of their army and the fact that the Great Elf itself is heavily defended by trolls and orcs and probably a dragon.
Oh, well, there's no probably to it.
Well, I mean, I don't know if the dragon can actually get in there, or if they're friendly to the dragon in there, or if he will go in there. Maybe he's already in there. We don't know it. For all we know, he can have a back way, or maybe he's already. Well, we've been out here, eating a bunch of goblins and dwarves, and now reigns supreme in the Great Elf.
We only have an update from one day. We don't have this is what the dragon's been doing for 16 days. We have something from day 8. This is a thing that happened.
Right.
We have a photograph, not a video.
So, as such, we have. My thought is, we return to the army. We. Again, you guys can probably tell me right away this is a bad idea. We convince the other dwarves that we have found a home for them, a place of safety in the mountains that will not force them to give up the mountains, and from which they can be a base of operations in further conquering the mountains, their ancient home. Basically, we convince them of this, lead them back here, distribute treasure until we have significant which the treasure I think we'll probably have to hide using in a sufficiently cubby-like enclosure and seal up with Mars' fantastic hiding magic. And then once, like I said, once we get them back here, hand out enough treasure to raise our standing enough that yeah.
So you're skipping the whole we have to move the treasure out bit.
Well, I'm thinking that we take enough like I said, take enough treasure to convince them that we're legit. Like, holy crap, Angi was nobody and now he has money. Also, we present our one-eyed friend with his amazing gem. The last remaining, basically, Little B is just a rolling freak show at this point.
You're not
hey,
wrong.
Baby, the one-eyed wonder and his amazing fire gem.
Mechanically, would that work as far as raising standing goes? People to us instead of treasure to them?
Sure.
Because basically, the point, I don't see any way we can transport, like.
We'd have to get a wagon.
Yeah.
Well,
and something to pull it with, but
we also do have the two small rooms that's like towards the entrance.
Right. My thought is we hide it somewhere. That's my pitch though, and I'm sure like we said, there are going to be some difficulties. Obviously, Nar is not going to want to give up control of his army or see them all led astray to faraway places. Probably also the Easterlings are going to be a problem, since they, and the Bardings, if they're still around, are going to want a cut, given they were promised as such by Nar / the dwarves, who all look the same.
That's north.
I would complain about that, except for the fact that Angi can't even tell that he's surrounded by women. So.
And speaking of that, I am going to say that we are now having this conversation around fire,
right?
And
that is what. Oh, it's gone. The accent.
Too much Aldafun's Eeyore for you?
Yes, too much of. Yeah. I don't know if it's coming back. It always takes me a minute.
All right.
You say something while I mute myself to practice.
Mar's going to look over at Idun and this is an auspicious start. What is your name, PJ? I mean, it's not PJ. Your hobbit name.
Brideus.
B. Little B.
Yes. Little B, Brideus Undertree, also now known as Brideus Fireheart.
Oh.
Are you changing your? Okay, well, all right. This, and she reaches over and, raises up Idun's arm. This is Idun the Courageous, one of the founders of the Fireheart clan. She who faced Kibblezun the dragon in his lair and lived to tell about it, who fought and defeated a mountain troll before her 71st birthday. Commander of the forces of the Fireheart. If she has done this as child's play, what greater feats will she do in her later years?
Yeah, you do! The commander might be a bit of stretch. But here's to Idun.
And
meanwhile, she's just blushing furiously.
This is Freya, wise advisor and dwarven spellweaver, protector of the mines of Fireheart. And I am Mar, previously librarian of the Blue Mountains, and now founder of the Fireheart clan. I have slain a Barrow-wight and the captain of the orc armies. I faced Kibblezun in his lair, and by my skill, I have found the long-lost mines of the Fireheart Mountain and killed the ancient troll. I hereby claim this mine as the property of the dwarven women of the Fireheart clan.
Yeah.
Whose founder stands before you. Angi Troll Slayer,
I
in
guess we're gonna have to bring some women then.
return for the service you have rendered today in establishing our claim, we offer the services of the Fireheart clan, such as they are, in restoring you. And she's going to look at the other women of the Fireheart clan.
So let me get this right. You all have some lady folks back at home, which you'll be bringing then.
Angi, we are the lady folk.
Yeah.
You're doing just rolls for eyes at this point.
I mean, couldn't you tell? They all have better beards than you.
Trophy.
Well, I mean, I've heard that. Well, this is a quarter turnip for the books. I wonder if King Thorin had this problem.
Too many women.
No, like, which of them was his crew were all women and he didn't know? Like, what about like
This is-
Helion? He was a pretty one.
This is-
Maybe he was a woman.
Angi, I'm pretty sure we all know that they weren't women. At least we would know whether they were women or not.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, I appreciate your allegiance and
Mark, that's her hands on her hips.
or perhaps we shall move on to other things and never speak of this again.
Never speak of what again?
Exactly.
if you're going to be king, you're going to have to have wilds, aren't you?
I will not need a wife.
Right, and I was mostly thinking that I needed an actual kingdom. If I was going to be king, wives are some other problem for another time.
I don't think I want a husband who doesn't know that I'm his wife.
That would.
Well, I'm sure he will know. That's, I mean, isn't that what they say? You'll know it when it's the right one.
That is not what they mean when they say that. Oh gosh.
Or it's at least what my mother used to say.
Are you sure it was your mother?
Yes, I'm sure. Voice in the dark.
All right. So,
Right, so
what are you guys doing? What's the plan?
So, Angi, are you saying that we should bring the people to the Fireheart clan and build our strength here for a few years?
I think that given the fact there's a dragon and rather a large army currently living in the Great Elf, and I mean, I can only imagine they're making more goblins back in there. Meanwhile, we've got a rather dwindling group of dwarves out front and a bunch of feuding Great Elf dwarves that feels like we need a new home, right? Someplace that can draw us all together.
It seems as though, even with the liquid cash that we have now,
I mean, pretty hot where I'm standing.
yes, well, it might be useful to. Nar has an army already.
Right.
I imagine we could get a little bit more of a following if we went somewhere that was perhaps a little more populated than Fireheart Mountain is currently. How far away is the nearest town? I mean, like far away, but like how?
It's an interesting question.
I also think that it's a good point that if we just show up and tell Nar that we found this mine, he's got the army. He can. I mean, even if we didn't tell him where it was, he could
Fair point.
exert that muscle.
Such a suspicious mind.
I speak from
The
my
nearest town would
Sure.
probably be somewhere in Dale. Um, Probably 90 miles away if you could find a pass through the down into the Narrows.
so like 3 months. How, wait, no, no. How far would how long would it take to get?
Just 3 months to go
Well,
20 miles.
once you got uh, once you got down into the um, once you got down into the Narrows, probably a couple weeks, something like that.
All right, and if we
But you'd have to find a pass down. That's the big problem right now. You don't even know if there is a way down into the Narrows from where you are without going back towards the Great Elf.
could you put the is the map? Where's the map?
Yeah, I'll move this to the map.
Excellent.
So currently, let's just add this. You guys are...
That's a round group of people.
Here, I'm going to draw it on the map, so now we know where it is.
Also, Harmony, I don't think she's logged into Roll20, so.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm trying to find it.
You guys are about right here. That red dot.
Okay.
oh, okay.
Let's put some text there.
So like super far away from everybody.
Yep. Well, there's a nice thing about being far away from everybody. You're far away
Nobody
from
invites
everybody.
you to do things, exactly. So instead of just. So you can just not do those things instead of having to spend all that effort making up excuses for why you can't do those things and then still don't do them.
Clearly, that is what we learned.
Okay.
So
I. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So if we can go to Nar and try to convince him, or I guess we'd actually be trying to convince the people under him to follow us instead.
Right.
Back to Fireheart, where we would basically regroup and let whatever happens to Nar's claim happen over the next couple of years, probably, at least a while. So the risk there is Nar will say, "I don't think so," and just kill us because he totally could at that point. We could go to, you said Dale?
The Dale Lands. So the problem is, you need to get down into here
Uh-huh.
or find a pass out of the mountains. And right now, you don't even know if there is one. The Dale Lands start about right here. There are some mining outposts up around that area. That would be the nearest civilization.
Oh. And
So
where is the mountain that all the wars and that
The-
Nora is encamped at?
The Great Elf is right here. I will
Oh,
put
yeah.
that on
Where
the map.
the mountain where your Lord and Savior Kibuzun is?
Yes, yes.
if we go, oh, go on, sorry.
No. Rudius was just jabbing on about Kibuzin.
If we try to get muscle, what that would involve is carrying the gold out. So we'd have to go down there, get something to carry it with, and back. So that's already a minimum, right? Because it's 2 weeks out.
We
And so that's just getting the stuff to carry the gold out. And then we carry the gold
Possibly 2 weeks if you find a pass. Otherwise, you could be looking at much longer.
out. Yeah. So the fastest we could actually get the gold out and be hired if everything goes super duper smoothly, would be 6 weeks. Is that what everybody else is?
Mhm.
There is the amount
Stop
of time,
snapping to
but
We
we
also
actually have money and people to go after him with.
also need to consider that if we do find a path, it's possible that it'll take us in through the withered heath and out. And that doesn't sound like a place people want to be at.
Oh, there's all kinds of fun stuff on the Withered Heath. I think you should definitely go there. It's my opinion.
Isn't that where the like dragons came from?
Yeah,
Like
that's where all the dragons are.
Oh,
Oh, mine except for
give
Kibbles,
us
eh?
some folks.
But I mean, you're a dragon friend now, so you should be able to get us through there just fine.
So he came up with
That's a skill.
All right.
Yes, roll for the order in which you get eaten.
probably. So I guess what we have to actually decide here is whether it is more of a risk to go to Nar without manpower when he could actually kill us, or whether it's more of a risk to take 2 months, I guess, to consolidate a little bit. I mean, as far as gameplay goes, I am more on the impatient side, and who knows what could happen in 2 months. As far as in world, it might mean to go slower, but there might not be any dwarves left alive.
Right. That is my main concern, and I think probably Ongi's main concern is that one that the Great Elf dwarves will continue to die in our absence.
Yeah, I'm kind of worried about that too.
How good are we with being sneaky?
So good.
Look on your face.
Ongi has a 2 in stealth.
I have like a lot in stealth.
I have a
Yeah,
one.
oh, that's your thing.
I have nothing in stealth.
Because I guess something we could try doing is if we went, I don't know, like, I guess I don't really want to run around with our hands ringing. Like, if we do something, it ought to be all the way.
Sure.
But so I wouldn't like. I guess it doesn't sound very like a good plan to like go and then ask around and decide, oh well, we should have done something else, so we're going to do something else. Because it kind of feels like we've done something like that because we haven't really been sure what to do next. But if we could poach away, I mean, any of them, because there's only like 60 dwarves, right? Like,
Right, exactly.
also that we'd be a lot more noticeable because everybody's going to know everybody.
What do y'all think?
Okay, catch me up on what we're doing. I'm sorry.
It's all right. All right, so
My brother called, or I was talking to him.
no worries. Basically, we, Sophia, in her wisdom, pointed out that, once again, we need people, and one thing that we, and either we could try and convince Nar or the dwarves that are with Nar to come back with us, or we could potentially go to people who are not already biased against us, show them treasure, and then lure them to our brand new fancy house. Is that what I'm basically more or less correct, Sophie?
If we go to Nar, then I don't see any reason why Nar himself would listen to us unless he's scared enough of the dragon. I mean, there is that.
I mean,
But
I am a half-crazed servant of this thing.
You're not supposed to actually be a servant of it, PJ.
No, but
I think the fact that you have his eye, like he's made you his servant, whether you do what he wants you to or not. You're automatically a witness.
All right.
But I guess if we go to Nar, then we'd try to buy a few of the dwarves, to, like the less committed ones.
Yeah.
Or we could take probably about 2 months, I would say, if we were working and actually come at him with manpower. At least some. For what it's worth, a standing of 4, which is what Angi will have, with that is equal to standing of 3 is officers and sheriffs, standing of 4 is counselors, deputies, marshals, prominent personalities. That's what we get to.
Prominent personality.
I was thinking it's going as crazy as the tricking Nar into trading his right for the throne for the Fireheart gem,
Yeah.
and then pointing out the fact that he may not actually be a good leader for the dwarves if he's able to trade a whole kingdom just for one gem.
I mean, on the other hand, what could he do with the gem? Like, he could, again, get himself an army.
That's what
It's not a bad idea, though. I mean, what
my thought process was these past 2 weeks. So
Well, he'd be in the same place we are. He'd have the opportunity to raise an army, but it would take time.
Right.
if he's not eaten by Kibazun already.
This is true.
Well, Angi, our resources, such as they are at your disposal.
Oh no, going into a town would be a good idea. I need to find a new spoken pipe.
I do. Raven, do you suppose it could carry word to Erebor?
I think so.
Do you suppose we could, or librarian, could you compose a missive to your friends and perhaps even the king himself, letting him know that we have uncovered, well, perhaps the, on the other hand, I don't know who Nar knows, but we could potentially do some recruiting without actually being there. I mean, who do we trust that we could actually send a message to?
Do we have any friends there?
I mean, I've got some relatives. I mean, I assume a Dune has relatives. She'd come from somewhere. Also, well, it doesn't sound right saying it that way, just so you know.
Mar is quietly satisfied that now Angi is saying she.
Right, and it doesn't roll out right. in any case, I mean, perhaps
This is the greatest revelation a Hobbit could ever come across.
let's see here.
I almost made it.
What if we sent word back? Does Mar have like a master or other like scholarly friends?
Richard, does she have a master?
Richard just left.
I assume that she left another librarian in charge of her post. As far as I know, she doesn't. In fact, she's from the Blue Mountains, so she's traveling far afield.
Okay.
Not having a master in Vale, actually.
Because my thought is that I agree with you. I think perhaps we could recruit dwarves to us, without actually going to them. I mean, I don't know what kind of proof we could send. Is there, Richard? Is there a ancient sign of the Fireheart Mine or something like that? Something we could take a rubbing of, perhaps, and send back to Mars' scholar friends?
There would certainly be like old coats of arms and things like that around. You could easily do that.
Okay, because that could serve as some sort of proof to actual scholars that we found it, and perhaps I feel like anything we do here is going to be risky. Because even if we were to travel the Dale ourselves, word's going to get out, and it's going to get back to Nar.
Or just anybody who hears that there's a
Right.
new mine that's been uncovered, then land rushers.
Right. I mean, technically, there's a good chance that we're the only ones who know how to get there, find it. Probably. I mean, given that it's been lost for many, many, many years.
You're thinking if we leave it and people are aware they should be looking for it, they might find it while we're gone.
They could, or I don't know.
How many men could we get with a standing of 4?
Well, your standing is not 4 right now.
Right,
I
but if
know.
we raise it to 4, but
If you raise it
have
to 4, which would require you to transport all of this treasure back to civilization,
Takes a minimum of 6 weeks. Got
and
it.
for Ongi's people, you have to raise standing among your own people, which means that for Ongi, in order for him to raise his standing, he has to go back to Nar's camp. That is the only option for him to raise his standing.
Oh, okay. So what about
Alright.
Mar? How does Mar raise her standing?
You're a Blue Mountain Dwarf?
Yeah.
That would have to be a year-end fellowship phase. I mean, in this case, if you are claiming the Fireheart Mine as your own, and you're setting up shop, then that's a different situation. That's going to require some fellowship phases. I have rules for it because I anticipated this. So whenever we get to fellowship phase time, we will talk about that.
we are okay.
But that's a multiple fellowship phase undertaking. Basically, you go into it as Mar the colonist, and you would come out as Mar the queen.
So what I'm hearing is that technically she could raise her standing among like the 4 of us.
Right, over the course of several fellowship phases.
So what all here is if you give me money, I'll be very, very honorly of you.
Yeah, it's different. It's still going to cause require an expenditure of treasure to attract other colonists and things like that. But it's a multiple, like it's not a we have to go find colonists today kind of a thing. Like that's a multiple year kind of a thing.
Okay, so then what I'm hearing basically is Ongi's primary option here is to go, for himself at least, is to go back to Nar and to the Great Elf Dwarfs that are with him.
If you want to raise your standing, you have to do it among
Right.
Great Elf
And-
Dwarves.
And
Yeah.
and Mar can only pretty much raise her standing if she's staking the claim at the mine with
Right.
Right.
and so carrying it out doesn't really like her carrying her own gold out doesn't make sense if that's what she's
That's correct.
Okay, so in that case, how much gold can we actually get out if we all carried it for
You cannot carry every treasure is 1 encumbrance, and you cannot have more encumbrance than your maximum endurance. Be right back.
Right. So basically, we're looking at, for me, I could carry about 17 treasure total.
If I keep all my armor on, then I can only have 9, it looks like.
I think I could carry 15.
I could take some armor off.
I'm
Think
not sure
What?
about mine because when my character sheet was made, it got like that all got messed up, and I don't think it ever got fixed.
How much could you look at
Hmm?
could you we're doing the math on how much treasure we could actually carry out if we all carried it for Ongi for the purpose of breaking the standing.
And I know when my character is made, the thing with encumbrance and the armor, like, it all got messed up, and I don't think it ever
Okay.
got
So your
fixed.
endurance is 32. Mail shirt is 12. Helm is 6. Shield is 3. I mean, I think your encumbrance looks fine to me.
Okay, I don't know. I remember there was something that was messed up. Maybe it got fixed.
No, it looks okay to me.
Okay.
So,
Maybe one of the armor things weighed more than
Right.
thought that did or something.
so what are you guys doing?
So how many can you carry? How many?
Well, right now she could carry. You can't have more, and just keep in mind, if you get travel fatigue, you'll have to drop treasure.
Really?
Yes.
So if the fatigue goes up,
You cannot have more.
wouldn't we just be weary?
I think that you cannot have more fatigue than you have total endurance. I'll check the rules. I did actually find the rule though, which I've never been able to find it before.
Well, if we can just assume being weary, how much does that come out to be? 9 from me. Plus, how much did you have, Ongi?
I could carry 17 if I max my.
It's that if you ditch your other gear.
No. I have all my stuff weighs less and less because I keep working on that, and because I am a dwarf who has that ability. So I could carry 20. No, I could carry 21.
And
Okay, so you can have a total encumbrance up to your endurance rating. So yeah, no worries about fatigue, travel fatigue. But yeah, you can have total encumbrance up to your maximum endurance rating.
and Freya, how much could you carry?
I'm a little confused.
6. The answer's Harmony is 6 with your gear, unless you drop your gear.
That'll be?
Does it'll be with this?
I don't know.
I don't know. I think he might be muted.
I am back now.
15.
So
We're at 51 right now. How much
So-
can you carry?
So if I get this straight, I can carry up to my maximum endurance, starting from my encumbrance
Right.
50.
Right.
Right.
Okay, so that means 9 minus 22. I can carry 11.
All right. Plus 11. That leaves us at 62. So we could carry with us 62 if we take the travel fatigue to be with me.
Or we can take enough to go buy a wagon and buggy, and then come back and get.
From who?
Right. if we're transporting it out, then we're talking like 6 weeks worth, because we've got to travel to get the wagon, then bring the wagon back, and then take it wherever we're wanting to go. So that's a minimum of 6 weeks.
I mean, I could sneak into the camp and steal a wheelbarrow.
2 weeks out though, and then you have to get here.
It will take you 18 days to get back to the camp.
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
There's no material. I mean,
Right.
would it be worth searching this mine to see if there are any carts or anything inside it?
Pretty much. Well, you can spend a. If you guys would like to spend a fellowship phase recovering your max endurance and exploring the mine, I can let you know what you find.
Well, we've got to recover for it.
Right. Right now we're pretty beat up. So
I think that you should carry as much treasure as you can and walk out into the waste with endurance in the single digits. I think that would be a great idea.
okay, if you say so.
Because there are things in these mountains that can smell treasure on you.
Yeah, I was sort of afraid of that, and this whole plan is going to.
Question: How many days would it take Keely to fly back to the Grey Delve and then come back to us?
Just a day.
A day?
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's nice being a bird.
So what are you thinking, Augusta?
I mean, if we wanted, we could explore the mine while Keely reconnoiters.
And we recover our endurance.
Yeah.
I think that, yeah, I think we
That's
have.
good, yeah, I'm down. Yeah. We have to do that anyway, so
Yeah.
All right.
Are we taking a fellowship phase?
seems like.
All right.
Well,
And now for everybody learning how to do their fellowship phase again.
Do you see this
well,
pencil?
no one-
I'm going to
no
put
one
this
has to-
pencil in
no one
my
has-
sinus cavity.
It's alright, it might actually be good for you.
Who's hunting? It's not me. I have a 0.
Someone will need to hunt.
I still have
I think
hunting.
Frey was yeah.
I have 1 in hunting.
Additionally, if you would like to spend your fellowship phase exploring the interior of the mine, that is a new fellowship phase option which is on the table.
I will do.
Can you do search? for
It will
that?
be search or explore.
I've
I
got
have
3 in
three.
search.
I
I
have
also have 3 in search.
I have 2 in Explore. Okay, so then
the highest.
again,
Sorry?
Who had the highest hunting? Because somebody has to hunt, right?
I
right.
have
Yeah, well,
1
it's Little B.
Little B has.
But
Yes, he used to have 3 in hunting until he met Kibazun the Great. Now he only has 2 in hunting.
oh, well, okay, he's still the highest.
And it cost me like an ungodly amount of XP to level it up to 3.
Yeah. Okay.
The voice in his head says,
So I played a campaign once in which we met this dragon who searched one of my companion's memories, and as a result of that, now in all of his memories, this dragon, this giant like Dracolich, is just like looming in all of his memories. We did get it reversed because we found some other dragons who would grant a boon to the character, but yeah, for a long time, one of our characters just had this Dracolich imposed in all of his memories.
That's excellent. All right.
Ben says as the player, Richard says as the GM.
Yes. All right, so you guys are fellowship phasing it up. If you've got XP and you want to spend it, or advancement points and you want to spend them, all that normal stuff.
Okay.
4, 6. So to get to level 3 of anything, you have to have a 12. Okay.
I don't know how to do any of this.
Yes, I like that.
I don't actually think you have that much to spend, but let's look. You have 7 unused experience. That's actually a decent amount. So, and let's see, do you have any? You've got 2 unused advancement points. I'll just clear those out for you. So you can't really do anything with 2 advancement points, but you can spend that unused experience if you want to raise one of your weapon skills. Let's see, you could raise your spear to 2. That would cost 6. You could also use it to raise your valor or wisdom, which would also give you a virtue or reward.
You said to take something up to a weapon up to a rating of 2 would cost 6.
Yes, actually, let me drop something in the chat. A super easy cheat sheet that I have.
Yeah, I was just looking at that.
I mean, I made you
Yeah.
guys one, but nobody ever used it, so...
Yeah, I just took a screenshot of the page and then clipped the text section out so that you just has the little chart once my Hangouts decides to pull itself together. There we go. Sweet, very slow. Alright, that's the toy leveling up table right there. So, if I'm not mistaken, the way it works is it's cumulative, right? So
You have to pay the cost for each level every time.
Yeah.
Okay, so if in fact I did so for each a previous level every time.
No, not each previous level. Just you have to pay the
Oh.
cost for the new level.
It has
Oh, I can just about get my axe up to a 5. But that means I could raise my courage or my wisdom up to a 4. Oh,
How much XP do you have?
13. When
No,
you get up to a certain level, you basically just can't do anything with it for a long time. It's
No,
sort of
in
been
total.
Oh, and what?
In total.
29. Well, total plus the 29 plus 13, so whatever that is. 16, 20,
So, Harmony with 7, you could buy a new Valor or Wisdom rank, either one, or you could buy a new weapon skill.
Which
Um,
one do y'all think would be better?
So you could up your Matic to 3 if you wanted to.
Okay, let's just do that.
All right, do it. So you can change the rank of your Matic to 3.
I'd be tempted to do that, but now that I have this shield,
So
Should
if
be
you take a
working
new
my
reward,
sword.
I can. If you take a new reward, I can. If you raise your Valor, or if you and Mar want to spend your phase go seeing a lore master, with Mar being the lore master, it will mean you are not exploring the cave, but it will mean that you can unlock the first thing of the shield.
I'd be willing to do that if Mar doesn't mind, but
Wait,
So,
Mar couldn't explore either.
Yeah, it's because you're both basically spending time with the shield, and Mar, you'd be researching it. It's really probably more the kind of thing that you would need to do it more reliably. You probably should actually wait till you get to a library. So
okay, well then we can wait.
yeah.
She's
so
gonna
with-
learn the third of the spells, of the broken spells.
Okay.
So if I change the rating of my magic, does that change any of the other stats on it?
Nope.
Just
No, the rating is how many dice you roll. So
oh, I see.
now you'd be rolling 3 dice every time. All right, so that spends 6 XP. So you have 6 used experience. I'll update that for you, and now you have 1 unused experience, which you can save for something.
So
All right.
I can add dark for dark business if I raise my wisdom by 1.
Oh wait, I can raise my sword.
I don't know why not.
Up in skill level.
Okay, cool. I might actually do that.
Wait, what are you adding?
PJ asked suspiciously.
My wife summoned me momentarily, so I must attend her.
Do I have to make, I think with the last time when we made a camp, in order to rest safely, and it had to actually take time to build the camp and make it secret and safe with the spells. Do we have to do that in order to properly rest here?
No, you guys have a place.
Okay.
We are currently the new owners of the Fireheart Mine.
All right. Well, I am.
All right, so
exploring.
you guys ready for undertakings?
I think so.
All right, Mar,
Yeah.
give me a roll of it. Mar, give me a roll of explore or search.
All right. In 14.
Yes.
Oh my.
Hey, Mar.
For just a minute.
I guess technically that would be 8 because
Do we have while weary?
What's that? No, you're back to max.
Yeah. Guy's a 0.
Mm-hmm.
Well, definitely ain't 11.
If it were favored, I'd make it. It is not, though. I am 1 away.
Mar, you do find something. Exploring one of the lower levels, you come across a huge heap of bones, which appears to be the remains of some of the troll's former victims. Most are goblins, but some are dwarves and even elves. This is a ghastly place, and the air here is foul. And I need you to roll a corruption test.
Better than that roll.
I mean, you know.
He is
14? Alright, you're alright. Little B, give me a hunting roll.
We are going into the woods.
Not really any woods around here. It's mostly,
I shall spend. I shall spend a point of hope to make that.
Alright. You managed to keep everyone from starving. Freya, you can give me a roll of search or explore.
Oh my goodness! Oh no!
Seriously?
You can spend. If you spin, that will be a great success.
Okay.
Don't you'll find another heap of bones.
Do I spend personal
Well,
hope
yeah.
or
So, fellowship school is at what?
5? Is what
I've got
Fellowship-
3.
Well, it'd be renewed. Well, we'll say it's still at 3, yeah, and then it'll be renewed when you start the new adventuring phase.
Okay.
So,
spend.
all right. So you're spending one of the fellowship phase. All right.
Are we
All right, Freya, you find a set of ancient ventilation shafts. The pumps are still seem to be, with maybe a week or two of work, could be gotten going again. And this would restore fresh air to the lower levels of the mine.
Nice.
All right, Angi, what are you doing for your fellowship phase?
Freya, don't forget to add since you got a success, to add a little tick to your skill group on that.
Angi, you're on mute. You look so serious. What are you doing?
Somebody has to keep watch, right?
You don't have to.
Yeah, somebody's keeping watch.
All right, give me an awareness test.
All right, and I just took, as I raised my wisdom by 1, and I took the Grey Delve Dwarf bonus of Dark for Dark Business. If you make a roll using awareness while in the dark, underground, or in deep forest, you roll the feat die twice and keep the best result.
Wonderful.
So, I'm going to roll my awareness. And roll the feat die twice. I mean, I'm gonna leave that.
That's fair. The week seems to pass relatively quietly without incident. There are essentially no living things that come anywhere near the entrance to the mine. Probably, you'd guess because of the troll's reputation. It will probably take a little while for the rumor of its death to spread through the mountains. All right, Idun, what are you doing?
I'm gonna explore the mine.
Give me a mine exploration roll. Missed it by 1.
What?
Yeah, Ungi dice.
Okay.
You got 2
Sir,
points of fellowship
is
left.
resetting. Should I spend one of those?
Yeah, it's been. Yeah.
Okay. So search. That would bring it up to
So are we done?
That would 17.
All right. Idun, you come across a small stash of precious and semi-precious gems, probably forgotten by the dwarves vacating the mine and too well hidden for the troll to find. And you gain you gain 6 treasure.
Hey. And because it's gems, is it easy to carry?
No, it's still 6 treasure.
Oh, okay.
That's a lot of gems.
They're semi-precious.
Um,
You found somebody's rock polishing collection, basically. It's very heavy.
Yeah.
I know from
Well,
experience.
precious. I mean, if you're gonna go with that classification, most gems are considered semi-precious. So
Yeah.
that's still pretty darn good.
It's semi-precious stones that could feed a peasant family for 6 years. So, you know.
As I said, it's a lot.
It takes a long time to digest the semi-precious stuff.
Are we doing the fellowship focus thing?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
If your fellowship focus is wounded or poisoned, you gain shadow. If they are otherwise alright, you gain a point of hope.
Hungry?
I am well. I am not wounded. I am not weary. I am healthy, hale, and yeah.
Okay.
Mars,
Mars.
hope.
Yahoo!
This makes her hopeful.
Me too.
Alright,
I'm
Idun.
my fellowship focus.
So you get 1 point back, right?
Yes. 1 point of hope. And you still have, I think, 1 point of fellowship hope.
Who needs that?
Who's lowest? I have 9 of 12.
I have 10 of
7
12.
10.
What do you got,
I have
DJ?
7.
Well, I've got 13 of 18.
I have
What you added,
7.
Augusta?
I am full now, so.
Okay.
All right.
Which Harmony or PJ? Who wants it?
Where's
I'm at
Harmony at?
7. I'm at 7.
Well, let Harmony take it.
Okay.
Hobbits come with the hope.
It's true.
Yeah.
Burn.
So how much is that? Just 1.
1. Add 1.
Yeah, and you have a fellowship focus and that you technically gain 2 points of hope.
Harmony should also probably have some courage to spend because she's.
Yeah. Also, who has the highest XP in this clan?
Pretty sure that's Angi at 42, and I just did the actual math.
Holy crap.
2.
You've been around.
So I have 3 courage.
Got some miles on that character.
I
At
have
long last.
Be a real shame.
So does that reset every fellowship phase reset?
Yes.
Okay.
So technically, you should spend that courage before the next fellowship phase.
Yeah. Well, you can also convert 1 courage to XP and 1 courage to AP if you want.
Yeah, I think if I was reading correctly, 1 courage actually converts to 2 AP.
I think you're only Oh. You might be right about that.
When at the end of a game session, spending 1 point and 1 point only of courage to gain 1 experience point. At the end of a game session, spend 1 point and 1 point only of courage to gain 2 advancement points.
You're
Oh,
right.
cool.
Isn't it handy to have?
It is handy to have the book.
How do you tell how much courage you have? I can't find.
Based on your XP compared to the most experienced character's XP, which is Angi. So you get 1 for every full 10 apart y'all are. So what's your total XP that your character
Unused or used?
together total?
Okay, 7.
So you've got 7, and he's got, what did you say? 60 something?
42.
42? So you 3?
Yes, 3.
Prince.
7 minus 42 is 36. No,
Yeah.
5.
So, Idun, during this time, you send Keely out, and he returns after about a day with the news that nothing seems to have changed in the valley. The no more Bardings have left. The dragon has not come out again. There are certainly sort of carrion birds circling around as though an expectation of something to happen, but nothing has happened yet. Whatever Nar is doing, he seems to be holding his position for the time being.
And the dragon only came out the once.
Mm-hmm.
I get to come and show somebody who's boss.
So we finished the week with our health full again.
Yes?
Okay.
Richard, for magical items, typically that works where you can unlock more abilities based on when you buy new.
When you get a new Valor rank.
So, well, is it based on your overall valor, or is it you have to spend valor to unlock it?
No, you don't spend Valor. It's just whenever you get a new Valor rank, instead of taking the reward that you would take, you unlock the next ability of your weapon.
Okay, is that something I could do now?
Yes, for sure.
Okay, because I'm pretty sure I have enough. Okay, my valor is at 2, and I could spend 6, and since I converted a courage.
Yeah, I'm raising my valor also.
Alright, yeah, so I'm gonna raise my valor so I can find out what my shield does.
All right.
So what do I do with my courage? Sorry.
You can basically spend it like it's hope. It's free hope. I would say that's as much as you should worry about at this point.
Algie, you said you had like what, 42 points?
42 points of XP.
Okay.
He's amazing!
All right.
And I can have courage up to my basic heart. I think.
Yes.
Okay. Plus, I have an extra one because I wrote an entry today. So.
Ooh, good job.
All right, that's a thing that I just sent you.
Okay. Thank you.
The little bit of story I sent you there is as much as you're able to divine so far. I'm not sure why there's a random typo in there, but anyway. So superior reinforced means no. So, superior reinforced. This quality enhances the, and I'll send you this text as well. This quality enhances the parry bonus due to the shield by +2. Additionally, if your Valor scores 4 or more once per combat when your enemy hits you without scoring a piercing blow, it misses instead. Finally, the shield cannot be smashed.
Nice.
So I just sent you that text. So that's what it has in addition to the cunning make.
Okay. Well, next time I'm gonna have to level up my short sword, but.
Yeah. All right. Well, now you know what it does. So, what is the plan, you guys? At the end of this week of resting, exploring, you don't explore the whole of the Fireheart, but you do get the sense of it's not as large as, say, Erebor, but it's a pretty good-sized hole, and it would probably... I mean, it would definitely take some work to get everything kind of livable again, but it seems to be, as far as you can tell, it seems to be empty.
I believe we are going to take a significant amount of treasure. This is going to go so well. Back to the Great Elf, as well as our diamond-eyed friend, and confront Nar and my fellow. Yes.
If I may peep in, will we just go around lugging this treasure all across the Wither Heath and the Waste?
We're not doing that, but
Friendly. Should it maybe we go out and explore and see if we can find a path down first? Without
we are
lugging
not
all the
going
treasure?
to. We're not going to Dale, so we don't actually have to do that because we just basically have to retrace our steps.
Going back to the Great Elf.
Right. Not to Dale or anywhere else. We just basically have to go back to where we came.
Where's the 8 treasure that Ongi had?
Excellent question. Up until recently, the whole
Doesn't matter.
weren't really enforcing it. So
In that case, you don't have it with you. You have it somewhere safe.
probably it's back in. I guess maybe he left it with his heir and Erebor.
Well, that, or, I mean, the Great Elf doors have like little hidey holes and stuff all over the place, so.
Okay, he's got a hidey hole then.
Does he have a hidey hole back by Nar?
I would say probably if Richard's okay with that.
Why would you have a hidey hole in the Great Elf?
Because
For the last couple months?
It has been established that the Great Elf dwarves have hidey holes in Mirkwood. They've been allowed
so
there
it's
by the Elven King, and remember, you guys murdered 2 Great Elf dwarves in their hidey hole in Mirkwood and then stole their treasure that one time.
Has been hiding out. Like that.
okay, yeah. So he's got hidey hole, a couple different hidey holes.
Yeah, but if you have not been applying the fatigue this adventure, then you do not have it with you.
All right, so he only has 100 treasure. His 8 other treasure is stashed. I'm taking notes here in ye old Mirkwood.
Scenic Mirkwood. First bank of Mirkwood.
In the
It's
bank.
I assume in the same house that he murdered
Which I assume is an actual river bank.
Yeah, probably.
All right, what you guys doing?
I guess we're all carrying as much treasure as we can.
So are you all
some-
maxing out your endurance?
Is everybody?
I think so.
So you're beginning the journey
Um,
weary.
Yeah, I can do that. I mean,
Are we beginning the journey weary? Does that make us
If your
weary? I guess it
encumbrance is equal to your endurance, you are weary.
Yeah.
Is there some like things in the cave that I could craft to make like a card?
Not unless you want to make a cart out of stone, which would be way.
Yeah, worked for the Flintstones.
Yes. There is no
There's
wood.
coal,
There is no
right?
wood. It's not. Yeah,
Right.
this cave was abandoned hundreds, maybe thousands of years ago.
What do we say? What if we gave ourselves a little wiggle room off the top, so that we're not like inherently weary,
Ongi?
at least for the first part of the trip.
What is Ongi's standing right now?
1.
Okay, so to get standing of 2, we need 24.
Okay.
Standing of 3, that would be 24 plus 36, which is 60.
I'm trying to look at the stand.
If we max out, if everybody starts out weary, can carry 64.
So basically, if we get to third, we could get to standing of 3. If everybody carried everything. Okay.
Basically, we have like 1 each. I guess there's 5 of
Right.
us.
now I have treasure too that's mine, and I have to decide what to do with.
You guys want to hide your stuff here and have Mara put her Heidi on it, and I take all of us out of my treasure. That is probably a little more fair for y'all.
That is fine.
Sure.
So let's do that. So, do we need to do anything to hide this extra treasure?
Nope. Mar has runes for that now. So
Yeah, I have all of the spell things.
Okay. So we are ruining it up. and putting it in a safe spot here in the Fireheart Mine.
Fireheart.
That's everybody's gold except for Ongi's.
Right. So I will subtract. I'm carrying 9 minus 32, 21. So I'm carrying 21 treasure. The other.
Just to clarify, because Richard was talking about the rules, like when he first found them a couple weeks ago. If we start out carrying this and then we get weary, dropping treasure doesn't fix it. Because
Right.
we're still weary from carrying it before, which isn't the way that we've been playing the last 3 years. The last 3 years we've been playing, if you drop it like a piece of armor or something, then you just take off that encumbrance and you're not weary anymore. So is if you're tired, you drop it.
I'm tired.
All right. So I have 36 treasure. How much treasure we needed again was 64. You said. Correct.
We can't. The total of what we can carry, according to what everybody said earlier, is 64. You need 60 to get to a standing of 3.
Okay. So
we've got 4 wiggle room. If you want to get to a standing of 3, if you're happy with a standing of 2, if you think that that's enough.
I'm looking at my standing ranks table at 135. I'm guessing that 3, given the situation we find ourselves in, the more the better.
Though on the other
Yeah, I
hand,
think so.
more is better, but also, if we got you up to 2, that's at least better. It would just mean we'd have to go back and forth each time.
Right, because right now my rating is Ranger. So officer. This would give us up to officer and sheriffs. Okay. All right. So this. Okay. Let's do this.
All right. So you guys are carrying as much as you possibly can and setting out on the return journey to the Great Delve.
Yes.
All right. Everyone, give me.
Oh, hold on. I did my math wrong. I can actually carry 13 treasure if I maxed it.
What did you tell me?
I thought it was just 11, but I did my math wrong. I can actually carry 13 treasure.
All right. So you guys have 66.
Well, are we carrying 66, or are we going to start out with not being weird? We can at least do the first roll now.
Well, if we can carry just 60,
that would leave it. Yeah, actually, most of us could have at least 1 off the top.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
All right.
So carrying just 60.
Carry however the heck treasure much you want, but it is 10 o'clock, and I would actually like to roll some dice.
Right?
So let's go ahead and get travel rolls as you guys make your way through the cold and forbidding gray mountains. At this point, you know a road that won't get you all the way to the Great Elf, but it will make the journey a little bit easier. So everyone go ahead and give me your first fatigue test at TN 16.
Have you all put your treasure on the sheet?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm carrying 14, which is 1 less than my fatigue threshold.
Likewise, I'm carrying 20, 1 less.
All right.
Travel at TN 16? What you said?
TN 16, yes.
I am carrying 10, which puts me at 19.
Nice.
Too bad it was TN 16.
Oh, rats! I forgot to.
Why do you have Ben dice?
Man.
Are you already weary, Ben?
No, I was not, but it might. Okay, so that would get me up to a 15 if I was not weary.
Yeah. Are you stiff-necked as well?
Darn it. Let me see. Additionally, you may spend a point of hope to. All right, I'm gonna spend a point of hope.
Yeah, because if I don't spend hope, then I'm gonna be weary, right?
Yeah, this is gonna be a rough trip, y'all. just in case you hadn't.
Weird.
All right, I'm spending courage, so I made that also.
Okay.
All right. How many do we have to do? I'm sorry, I haven't done any yet. I was.
So start with 1.
Okay. And
T-
16.
Yes. Travel at TN 16.
Where
Write treasure and put it under description, encumbrance, under gear. It's right under weapon skills.
Okay.
So write treasure in the description, and for the encumbrance, put the amount of treasure that you're carrying, so it'll automatically add the encumbrance.
Okay. And
So,
how much do I
on the-
need to carry?
I'm trying to find the tab I wrote it
You
on.
can carry 5
Okay. Without being weary.
without being weary. All right. If you failed, you're gonna add 2 points of fatigue.
So here's the thing, though, for those of us who are dwarves, you can only carry as much as your encumbrance rating, but when you're calculating your fatigue, we get to take 7 points off, or what we get to take off our favored part.
Right.
So we actually wouldn't necessarily be weary yet.
Yeah. You can put a negative. You can put a negative. That's the dwarven cultural thing, but that's not every dwarven culture. So you have to check and see if it applies to yours.
Okay, what's it called?
Redoubtable?
It's Greydale dwarf, so it's redoubtable.
Okay. Maybe it is every dwarven culture.
I think I checked, and I'm pretty sure it's all dwarves.
Okay. Oh, you're a lookout, Freya.
Yeah, I have redoubtable too.
Interesting.
That is cool. Okay, I will actually. Sorry.
Harmony's carrying 5. Ongi is carrying how much?
Are we?
It's carrying 20. 20.
Actually, so in that case, oh,
All right, you're carrying whatever you said you were carrying a minute ago. Like, yeah, you can recalculate it. Like, if you're redoubtable, and so you're subtracting it by a certain amount, that's fine. You just won't get weary as fast. But if we can't go back and do all the treasure math again. Like, this path leads only to madness. If you guys really want to count encumbrance, there are games for that. All right.
It's true.
We are dwarves.
We really do want to count our encumbrance, man.
Yeah,
This is money.
that's fair. Okay.
For
Well,
dwarves.
you know what? Augusta, you do whatever you want to do. Your lookout just rolled an Eye of Sauron.
All right, so we're
And you
rolling
guys are
again.
carrying a butt ton of stuff. So,
So we got 57 treasure.
Dang it. All right.
Really, actually, like,
We should have did this before we started going.
Well, so,
it's almost like you got. I mean, figure out however much treasure you're carrying, whatever. But like,
I had
stick to a number.
cleared, so I can add, like,
I will add. Okay. Does anybody have enough wiggle room off the top to add 3 without being instantly weary, or add?
I could
1?
add 1.
there.
Okay.
I added 2, and she added 1, so.
Okay, we're back up to 60. Gosh darn it, we're about to get robbed here, I'm sure.
I would like our lookouts to both roll awareness, please.
Where are our lookouts again?
Yeah.
Freya and Bridios looks like.
We're on the wrong map, so it's hard to see for us.
Oh, sorry.
We are on the wrong route.
Freya and Bridios.
Okay.
British definitely
You
should not
should
be.
not be a huntsman because I have 0 in that.
Yes, I think Idun and I should switch places.
Yeah, because I have 1 awareness now, so.
Sure. Freya and Idun, roll awareness.
Hey. Ooh.
Yeah, I don't think I can't spend anything to make that better. Oh wait, no, if I spent. Wait. Nope.
Oh, this is wonderful.
Kibbles why?
As you guys the journey begins as you're headed down the road, and you get a few days into your journey, and you've gotten to the point where you're gonna have to leave the road and start kind of fighting your way through the passes of the Grey Mountains once again. And when you wake up, and Angi, you find that one of the bags of treasure, which you have been carrying, is missing. You lose 4 treasure.
Just missing? Like they just
Missing.
We've been robbed.
I knew it. Can we see where it went?
You can certainly try. What would you like to try?
I would like to. We're missing a bag of treasure.
Just because.
Obviously, we all like check ourselves repeatedly.
Yep.
We like slap the back of Prettius's head a couple times. to
Yeah.
see if anything
Yeah.
comes
Maybe shake him a little bit.
up.
What is wrong with you? Bring you food.
All right. And then, do we see if anything like? Can we?
Your huntsman can give me a hunting roll to see if he finds any tracks.
If you feel like it, Prettius.
So did I not see anything with my great
Nope.
success?
It was not during your watch.
I can spend a point of trade.
Prettius, you don't find any tracks.
Dang it.
There's no such thing as like fairy treasure that just like turns into dead leaves in this game, is there?
I mean,
Feel it?
there was the banquet at the Morwin's Towers at one time.
Yeah, I think probably.
We tried so hard.
Well, we'll get up to level 2, and then we can buy ourselves a fantastic meal.
In a wagon.
You could always drum up support and get like the temporary bonus.
That's right. It's not a bad idea. Okay.
Yes, like a sixth of what it usually costs.
Okay. Can any of the rest of us roll any search or hunting or anything?
I don't know. Can you? The huntsman can roll hunting.
Okay.
If you would like to search the area, any of you may roll search.
Okay. What's it? 14.
Sure. That was
But
self.
stiff neck of the dwarves. 17. Yes, Idun. What do we find?
Zilch. You find that you are in the mountains, and there are a lot of rocks here.
All right. Well, some goblins are going to be coming back. This sucks. Okay. I mean, what else are we going to do? I guess we keep going. But
Well, someone's not weary anymore. Or is it?
All right, everyone, give me another travel test at TN16.
Is the adventurer's companion in with you, dear?
I don't know. Is it?
you're actually supposed to answer that.
It's very frustrating living with a GM.
I have the adventurer's companion.
What should we make for dinner tonight, dear? You can try anything. Wow, you guys are not great at
like,
traveling.
we must go. We got to be faster.
I'm gonna. Are we gonna spend company help on these?
I
be
don't
better.
think some of those are
I mean,
recoverable.
I can probably. It's two travel fatigue.
Yes.
Okay, well I can. Oh, I still have. Sorry, no, I still have 2 travel fatigue on here, which I should have gotten rid of. All right, well we'll just leave it there.
Ah!
Doubtful.
So I could have carried more treasure. Anyway,
Oh, wonderful.
Richard, this is what you get for playing with a bunch of liberal arts majors.
I know.
None of us can do
Basic
math.
math.
You have to realize, like, this is like work 2.0 for me today. Is all this is.
Except we're not dealing with millions. We're dealing with like 2.
Yeah, but you guys are about as good at this as the government.
Thank you. So what you're saying is Congress truly does represent our.
Yes, no, that's very true. That's why we should be worried. It's in the it's in the closet where all the
government could.
Okay. So if you failed that roll, as many of you did, you gain 2 points of fatigue as the arid Mithrin, formed of hard, unyielding rock, do not yield in a friendly fashion beneath your feet. And you follow the granite and limestone traces westward back towards the Grey Delve. I need everyone to give me one final travel test at TN16.
Come on, y'all. We got this. Yes, we do. Oh!
All right. This is another 2 points of fatigue if you failed.
So if I spend a courage, how much can I bring it up?
If you can bring it up by your travel a heart skill.
Okay. So I have a 4, so that bring it to 16. So would that work?
Yep.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay. It is on the 18th day of your journey. You actually gained time for the road, then you lost time searching for Angi's missing treasure. So it kind of evened out. So it is on the 18th day of your journey, June the 26th, as it happens, that you approach the headwaters of the Forest River, which flow out of the Grey Delve itself. And in the distance, you can see, as you near the entrance to the narrow box canyon in which the Grey Delve entrance lies, in the distance you can see circling birds of carrion overhead, and faint wisps of smoke coming up from the valley.
Yeah. That's not good.
What are you guys doing?
I could go. Well, I guess we could send the bird, but I could also go up there and see what's going on. I am.
You can do both.
I think
Yeah.
sending somebody with a jeweled eye is probably not the stealthiest. Like,
I
I
have
have a
Gideon stealth, and I have burglary. Anyway, that's my specialty.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, I think we send.
I literally have the exact same copy of that.
Yeah.
So,
but you also have a diamond in your head.
I am also elusive, small, and I have the art of disappearing. So
I disappeared.
All right, who do we send? I think we do send the bird, if that's okay.
Yep.
Keely crows once or twice, flaps his wings, and flies away. And he returns about 10 minutes later and kind of... Ah! Terrible! Ah! Terrible! Ah!
What is it? What did you see?
Bodies! Ah! Men! Men and dwarves! Ah! Slaughtered in the valley!
Oh.
All right.
Is there anyone left alive?
He kind of... Yes?
What sort of people are they?
Goblins. Goblins!
there's
Eating the
goblins there,
slain!
but
Ah!
but there aren't any good guys left alive.
I was never really clear on who the good guys were in this scenario.
Fair enough.
Goblins or dwarves or, I mean, goblins or orcs or dragons?
So, are there any humans or dwarves alive in there?
Ah, not that I could see. Ah!
Ah,
All right, we need to. We do need to send. I think we need to send someone down, but we also need to find a safe spot for all this treasure because this is going to be a fight. If I'm guessing.
Oh no.
I mean, I wouldn't say nobody got away.
Oh, is this Nar or Floey?
You turn around and you see Floey standing there.
All right, you.
He's still in rags, but he has sort of a heavy gold chain around his neck.
Suppose you took that right off the neck of a Nar, maybe?
Hey,
Or possibly a more worthy dwarf than yourself?
You weren't using it no more.
They weren't, or I wasn't.
You know, of course, the fact that I'm standing here means they've already spotted you. It's just a matter of time.
Chloe, what happened? No riddles.
Oh, it was a glorious battle. That's for sure.
And who won?
Well, now, was it the Bardings that won? No, I don't think it was the Bardings that won. I think, they held out the longest after the Easterlings finished off the last of Nar and his dwarves. Bardings hold up there in the canyon till the dragon came out. I wonder just how many he swallowed at a single go. Of course, it was rather dreadful to watch, don't you think?
I don't know. Seems like you just said a minute ago that it was a glorious battle. I think you described it as.
Aye, a real courageous last stand. Nar went down fighting like a true last lord of the Grey Delve, cut down by Uldor, the Easterling captain.
And what happened to the Easterlings then?
Wait, so you're saying the dwarves and the Easterlings are fighting against each other at the end?
It sounds like this may have in fact been its own fight between the three armies.
Well, there was the, you're forgetting the army that showed up from Mount Gundabad. Let's see now. You've got the Grey Delve goblins. You've got Nar and his dwarves. You've got the Easterlings. You've got the Bardings. And you've got the army from Mount Gundabad. Well, where I'm counting, that's 5 armies. Bit of irony, wouldn't you say? It's always good to kill the dragon before the battle. The army from Gundabad showed up. You remember when you and I followed those goblin scouts out west? Angie, don't ya? Don't you remember?
I do remember. I rather think this is a very poor time to be rubbing it in all of our faces, you bastard. We
They
are
were-
like the only 2 Grey Delve dwarves left.
They were going for help. Going for help. And it came. 2,000 strong it came. They're still down in the valley. You'll get to meet them before long. Gorgol, son of Bolg, is their leader. Nar did his best until the 4th hour of the battle, when suddenly the Easterlings turned around, cut the dwarves down where they stood. I suppose that's what comes with being a pompous ass.
Not wrong there.
I thought you'd be rejoicing. After all, isn't this what you wanted? To show Nar up?
It wasn't Nara I wanted to show up. I mean, that perhaps came with the bargain. But that's more like the frosting than you actually want the cake.
You know, it's funny that you should mention cake.
If you say something awful here, I'll swear.
Oh,
Going
it's
off of this cliff, Chloe, so watch your words.
just that when I told Kibbletoon you were on your way into the valley, loaded down with bags and bags of treasure. Do you know what he called you? Dessert.
Chloe? Do I believe him when he says that?
Give me an insight roll.
I roll insight.
Sure.
I'm super.
Seems to be telling the truth.
Chloe?
Freya and Idun, I need you to give me awareness tests.
Yeah, I guess
I guess that Idun, kind of looking to your left and your right, you see small dark forms moving through the rocks towards your position.
They don't happen to be elves, do they? Chloe? I think, if I remember correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but Nara was the one only person ahead of me in line for King of the Great Elf, correct?
There might have been one other you forgot about.
Well,
He's
that would
about
be you.
30 feet long. He's got huge fangs.
Right, I'm talking about dwarves. That's all that can count right now. Because some giant, balmy lizard wants to be king doesn't make him king.
Maybe this isn't a good time to be having this conversation when we're being ambushed.
Yeah. Can I
spend a point of knowing that? Can I spend a point of hope and use my art of disappearing?
Ongi, if you are not going to do the honors, I will.
Are we killing this treacherous, treasonous?
I don't know if we were doing or if that's
The DM is rolling and I don't like this.
An arrow comes
Get out.
whistling from the rocks and hits you, Freya. You take 5 points of damage
Alright.
as it kind of glances off your armor. See you around, Nar.
Alright, are we near a cliff? Can I kick this?
You're not near a cliff. You're at the entrance to a box canyon. He sort of jumps back behind a rock as arrows come.
Chloe, next time I see you, you are dead.
Can I ask him? I said that I was doing it.
If you want to axe him, you will be going into combat now because the orcs are closing in.
Well, we are in combat because they're shooting us, right?
No, they're shooting at you because they're shooting at you. We haven't gotten into combat yet. If you want to run without making an athletics test,
We have to run.
this is your time.
Yeah.
We have to run.
Okay, let's run.
There are 2,000 something orcs in that valley.
Yeah, let's run.
All right, I'm gonna need you all to give me athletics or stealth tests as you try to escape.
Richard,
I
you
got a-
bastard.
I've got a question. So, could I use the art of disappearing?
Yes, you can. Seems like the time.
Okay. I'll have to spend a point of hope, but that's a guaranteed that I get out of here alive.
Maybe.
I'm going to spend hope, which that's favored for me, so that brings me up to 15.
Yeah.
Can I help somebody with it so they don't have to spend hope? 'Cause I
Uh,
have great success.
Yes.
There you go.
All right, so I'm gonna who missed it? Mar.
Because I spent.
So did okay. So I'm grabbing Augusta by the arm, Idun by the arm, and dragging her along.
And Harmony could cover for more.
It's
Yeah.
true.
All right.
I could.
Scattering like the wind. The 5 of you make your way into the hills and the mountains of the Grey Delve, escaping for the moment your goblin pursuers. In the weeks and the months that follow, some things will change over the landscape of the campaign. Mar, well, first of all, we'll start with you, Angi. Angi, the Great Elf Dwarves are no more. There are only 2 of you left in the world. One of them is Floey.
I think I'll have to do
But
my
you
best to
are
make sure I'm the
surrounded by
last.
beautiful women, so
You are surrounded by beautiful women.
There can only be one.
we could work on re-establishing the Great Elf race. That would take multiple fellowship phase undertakings, I imagine.
Yes, it would. If you know what I mean. Ahahaha.
Oh no, no!
Roll for
Have
awe.
this another time.
I do. It's pretty cute. You wouldn't mind being queen of the Great Elf.
All right. So, Grey Mountain Dwarf is no longer a playable culture. Grey Mountain Dwarf, like, obviously you can keep playing Angi, but no more Grey Mountain Dwarfs can be made.
Like the whole culture, man.
For the next,
I did.
it will take 5 years for Mar and the other Fireheart women to establish the Fireheart mine as a colony. That will involve the spending of treasure. The more treasure you spend to raise your standing as queen of the Fireheart Mar, the more colonists you will attract.
More what?
The more colonists you will attract.
No, the first part.
The more treasure you spend to raise your standing, the more colonists you will attract. At the end of that 5-year period, there will be a new dwarven hold in the north, the Fireheart Mine. It'll just be a normal location. We'll flesh it out like everything else, and there will also be a new playable culture, the Fireheart Dwarves, which will be something that I make. And that'll be available in 5 years from the current year. So this is 2965. So in 2970, if you choose that's what your path is, in 2970, Fireheart Dwarves will become a playable culture. As the news reaches across Wilderland of the defeat of Nar's army, the scattered remnants, mostly Bardings, make their way to Mirkwood, make their way to Dale, carrying the terrible news of the defeat, of the complete destruction of the Great Elf Dwarves, and of the coming of Kibblezun, the Longworm. And that basically takes this campaign dovetails back with the main branch of the story. That is not to say we will not be revisiting the Grey Delve saga at some future point. That's largely up to Ben at this point. What's that?
I think we will if we can.
But the future may be, well, it may be building up the Fireheart in order to give the Great Elf a shot again, because right now you do not have a culture. You cannot raise your standing. Now you can claim a title, Angi can claim a title with some other culture, he would probably be welcome to do so with the Fireheart once they become a viable culture, at which point you could raise your standing there. So, the good news is you did escape with all of your treasure. It was a very narrow thing.
Question.
Yes.
Just because.
Yeah.
How did how did we get here? As in, could we have done anything to prevent this? I mean, maybe that's a horrible question to ask. Maybe that.
The answer is yes. I had a timeline worked out for the movements of the orcs and the movements of Nars people and everything, and basically said this is what happens if the players don't interfere. But if you had done things like, if you had stayed closer to home and not gone off to the Fireheart, you would have been there when scouts came back reporting that this army from Gundabad was showing up, and at that point, you would have had the opportunity to involve yourself in basically the politics of the situation and say, should we actually stick around and fight or not? Things like so, and there are a lot of things. I mean, if you'd caught those goblin scouts when they were going to Gundabad to get help, I mean, there's a lot of different things. Or if you figured out they were going to Gundabad for help, or you can make yourself crazy by playing the what if we had done this game, and ultimately what you guys managed to accomplish is still pretty remarkable, but it's maybe not the thing you set out to accomplish. So
Yeah.
the
Gotta
point.
be honest, it's a bummery end.
I'm really sorry.
I know. It's totally fair, and
It's a bummer that the the new culture is super awesome. Like the fact that that was even a possible thing. We didn't realize it was a possible thing, but we kind of we wanted the new culture and the old culture.
I mean, what I would say is that you guys were basically gunning from the very start to break up Nar's army. Like, that was always your plan, was to break up Nar's army and demoralize them, and as it turns out, you didn't do anything towards that. If you had, their defeat would have been even more spectacular.
Oh.
Because a bunch of goblins showed up. And I used the mass combat system. I rolled out the whole battle.
That was all the dice
Yes.
that I heard earlier.
Yes. Because I was pretty sure y'all weren't going to come back in time. And so I went ahead and rolled it all out to see what happened. So, the dwarves put up a pretty good fight for 60 dwarves. But they were not prepared for the Easterlings to stab them in the back, which, if you guys had gotten involved in the internally, like if you'd managed to show up early on and attach yourself to Nar's army, that is something that you might have uncovered and been able to see coming. But as it was, you spent most of your time on the periphery, which meant you discovered an awesome, the Fireheart mine, but it means that you weren't involved in any of the internal stuff. So,
Well,
you guys hated Nar. The Great Elf situation hasn't changed. It still has to be retaken.
Yeah.
You guys basically hated Nar, and he's out of the picture now. So technically you have a lot more treasure and a base of operations in the Grey Mountains. So technically you're sort of ahead. It's
just we didn't want to lose the 59 other dwarves.
right.
Right. Cost of everybody that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that
You should have listened to those elves.
don't say the elves did not.
Yeah.
Yeah. The point of this is not you suck. Please don't.
Yeah. No.
Please
no,
don't take that away. But it's just. I had a.
Yeah.
This is what the NPCs are doing when you're not there.
Yeah, that's fair. That makes sense. I'm not blaming
And
you.
I tried my hardest, Augusta, to give you the full Hobbit experience. I had a dragon, I had 5 armies, you had a Hobbit burglar, did my best.
Richard, There's I think I sent you guys the link to the videos, he's got a Spotify, Dan the Bard, who does
Yes.
the D&D song.
Yes.
He had a new song at the Renaissance Festival this year. It's not on, he hasn't recorded it yet, but the song was just called It's D&D, and the chorus goes, it's D&D, it's D&D, we all agreed to play some D&D. That means role-playing, fighting and slaying, solving puzzles. Maybe that's just me, but you guys won't. Oh no, we won't. You guys just don't. Oh no, we don't. Or, yeah, oh no, we won't. Follow a single plot line through and through instead of role-playing, fighting, and slaying. You find the weirdest other things to do. So the whole DM creates this amazing campaign and is trying to shunt people towards it, and they spend like an entire campaign building snowmen or having a bake-off or...
Sounds about right.
Yep. No, that's yes.
I mean, it could have been worse. We could have accidentally destroyed a whole city.
Yeah, that
killed
would be
an
just...
ancient civilization and almost destroyed a whole planet.
Yeah,
So,
well,
That would be terrible, Harmony. What kind of awful players would you have to be to do something like that?
we're also really close to losing the battle, but also not having Fireheart Mine.
Right.
That finding it and actually getting it.
The battle would have been a close thing even if you guys had been there. It would have been all kinds of chances for heroics. Might have slain a dragon. We'll never know.
Well, we'll for a dragon.
I was gonna say I don't think this is over. At least if I have my way, we're going back.
Yeah, but we'll come back in like after Fireheart is established. A few more years. There's going to be more orcs and goblins, but I doubt the dragon's going to be any tougher.
So comes Snow After Fire, and even dragons, like side campaigns, must have their ending. And so that's where we're gonna leave. That's where we're gonna leave the Great Elf for now. And in the meantime, Ben, Angi is welcome to rejoin the main campaign for a while if you'd like him to do so. If for some reason your other character becomes out of pocket and Anki wants to kill some time until the Fireheart gets established, it's totally up to you guys.
I sort of feel like I don't know. I was thinking about that.
There's still a Morrowind out there that he needs revenge on, so...
I don't know. I mean, after this, I sort of wonder if he's rethinking the whole revenge thing. Like, what exactly did that get me? And now literally everybody is dead.
Yes.
So I actually was thinking he probably ends up, if he leaves the mine, he's recruiting. But I think he probably sticks around Fireheart for now.
So that's where
If you guys are game, I might reach out to you in a year or two game time for a mid, as you guys are establishing the Fireheart colony. I've already got some ideas for the kinds of challenges you might run into, which might be interesting to explore for an evening or two. So I'll let you guys know as that develops.
I do have one question.
Yes.
What would it take for me to figure out how much treasure the gem I'm carrying around?
In your face?
No, not that one.
Oh, the Fireheart gem, yeah.
The Fireheart gem does not have a treasure amount associated with it, and the reason is that it is priceless. It's a dwarven heirloom, basically. There is no amount of money that you could just sell it for. That would probably, if you took it to somebody who didn't know what it was, you wouldn't get a whole lot for it. Because they just wouldn't know what they were looking at, because these are so rare. So there's no specific numismatic value to the Fireheart gem. It's way beyond that. Now, that said, you could probably sell it to one of your dwarven companions who have a lot of money if they would like priceless heirloom. In terms of standing, it doesn't really do a lot for you as a hobbit. For somebody like Mar, it's probably worth Yeah, it's probably worth a +2 bump in Mara's standing just to possess the gem,
Yeah, especially if she's going to be.
because she is an actual dwarf.
Also of the fire heart. Like
Yeah.
Right.
So that might be something the two of you are able to work out. Bridius, there's probably not a huge future for you out west, back in the Shire at this point. Scarred, and the Herald of Kibblezun, your lord and master, as you are. But at this point, Sophie is now in charge of the Fireheart, so if she would like to grant a claim title to her friends and allow them to become honorary members of the Fireheart clan, she can do so.
you may be honorary members of the fire heart.
Well, thank you.
So my biggest consolation about this whole thing, you guys, is that Floey is still alive.
If we had more time, he was. Yeah. I would.
I mean, you have all the time you want to, as long as you're willing to deal with all of his friends.
So if Idun wanted to help establish a new settlement here, she would not be able to partake in other campaigns for 5 years, you said?
Well, I don't know. Queen Mar might need to send messengers out into the world.
Okay, I mean, I don't have a specific plan
Sure.
for her yet.
If you enjoy the character and you would like to switch her out for Kelly Mirith for a little while, I'm down for that. We can just figure out the circumstances. So.
Okay.
Yep.
This is going to set up shop at Fireheart. Mine.
Kelly Mirith might have might
They what?
reach her. Kelly Mirith might be fed up with human politics.
After, yeah, that's a very good chance of that. Actually, we'll talk about next adventure. Kelly Mirith might be interested in the next adventuring year, but after that, if you wanted to kind of bring in some fresh blood, that is. I do not intend that anyone playing this game will end the campaign with the same character they started with. Not just because you'll die, but because characters evolve, and so at some point it starts making sense to do something other than adventuring, and that is fine. So yeah, you figure out what you like to do, and I'm sure that we can work with Sophie and come up with a good reason why Idun might be down south, trying to further the advances of this new settlement. Certainly, it's going to be a lot of work to found a new clan. And you're going to need friends. So, all right.
Do we get any XP for tonight?
You all get 3 XP for tonight. For the end of the adventure. I'm sorry the ending wasn't quite as epic as we'd all maybe sort of... Certainly not as epic as I'd intended. But... But think of it as not the end, but maybe just the beginning of the next chapter. So
I do believe
the next chapter, which we will call "Floey Continues to Ruin Angi's Life in Intricate and Amazing Ways." That's chapter 2 of this saga. So
I'm sure Little B will at least attempt to write back home. Probably.
I look forward to seeing that letter, PJ.
I expect he's going to have Mar draw a portrait of himself to send back.
Well,
Maybe with a few embellishments.
that there is no adventure or danger in being a librarian.
Fair
There are
enough.
sorts of possibilities when you keep your nose to the books.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us for this. And obviously, I see most of you in the regular campaign anyway, but Harmony will definitely reach out when we are doing another Fireheart side game. Can't really call it the Great Elf side game anymore. When we have another Fireheart side game going, we'll reach out to you and let you know.
Alright.
Good night, everyone.
Thanks, y'all. We'll see you.
Good night. Thank you, Richard.